I don't know about you, but I think the future looks pretty bright for the New York Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Coming up on today's show, Nestor Cortes named the opening day starter. We have some injury news and roster moves. We'll recap the weekend, but first, the future looks pretty bright for the Yankees. Why am I saying this? The Spring Breakout game. If you didn't watch that game on Saturday, it occurred after the Yankees played the Blue Jays, and it included the Yankees and Blue Jays prospects, and we got to see some guys do some pretty cool things. So let's get into it. The first thing we have to get into, obviously, is Spencer Jones in his home runs, because he hit a home run in his first at bat, a 2-run shot that went .399. He also went, let's see, one went to right. No, it was kind of right-ish center, but center. That was the .399 one. The 427-foot shot that he hit, the second one he hit, that was a monster shot. He's a big boy. He's basically Aaron Judge, just not as bulky yet because he's young, from the left side, like 6'6", 6'7", big dude. And he also hit an RBI double. And what was great about the home run in the first at bat was that Bob Lorenz, I believe it was Bob Lorenz, or maybe it was Jack Curry, whoever was in the booth, was mentioning how Jones was cutting down on his swings and misses so far in spring training, because he had, I believe the number was 155 strikeouts last season. And he's barely missed anything in spring training. And he hit the home run like a second after they said that, put the Yankees up 2-0. The other big story of the spring breakout game, Lefty Brock Selvidge started the game, threw 4 scoreless innings, only gave up 1 hit. He walked 1 and he struck out 8. Now, Kevin Reese, the Yankees vice president of player development, said that Sam Breend basically was like, yeah, have Selvidge start the spring breakout game. This is a no-brainer. And the young lefty had a pretty awesome surprise waiting for him before the game on the field. Another pretty good lefty for the Yankees, Andy Pettitte, was there to talk to Selvidge. Selvidge said, "That is somebody that has done everything that I want to do. As a young pitcher, my goal is that I want to do all the above. I want to win championships for my team. He's incredible to talk to. He's going to give you unlimited help." Now, what did Pettitte tell Selvidge before the game? He told him to trust his fastball to get ahead in the count, and I'm assuming with the 8 strikeouts, he did that. So that was a good outing for Selvidge. Impressive outing for Selvidge. Impressive game for the Yankees. And I'm going to sound so old when I say this, youngsters. Oof, never thought I'd ever say that in my life, but here I am. Other notables from the spring breakout game, Roderick Arias went 0 for 2, but he had 2 walks. TJ Rumfield hit a 2-run home run, which scored Yorbit Vivas, who led off the second inning with a bloop single, and then Rumfield hit that home run. Caleb Durbin hit a ground rule RBI double that made the game 7-0, and the young Yankees won 9-1. Everson Pereira also walked, and it was just fun watching the kids do their thing in a spring breakout game. And I think it's a great idea. It's all across baseball. It's been happening over the last 2 days. And you get to see kids that you might normally not see and kids that you will eventually see. And yeah, I thought it was really great. The game started late because the Yankees Blue Jays game before that lasted a little longer than they expected. We will talk about that in segment 2. But I did mention how the future looks bright for the Yankees. And another reason why the future looks bright for the Yankees, Luis Gil, 5th starter? Is it possible? Do you remember when everyone thought, oh, he's done because he had Tommy John surgery? Well, He has pitched so well in spring training that his name has emerged as a possibility for the fifth starter while the Yankees are without Gerrit Cole, which is amazing. Now, in case you forgot about Luis Gil, made his debut in 2021, looked great in his first 3 starts. Not so great in his last 3 starts. Not terrible, but it was like people were catching up to him. Now, I happened to be at the August 8th game against the Mariners when Gil started. The Yankees ended up losing the game, but it wasn't because of Gil. He pitched 5 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. He looked great. And that was after he got into some trouble in the first inning. He was kind of walking the tightrope there, got out of trouble, and then settled down, and the Yankees just couldn't hit against Seattle. So far in spring training, after getting Tommy John in 2022, and he only made 1 start in 2022, got hurt, got the Tommy John surgery. On Saturday, he pitched against the Blue Jays, gave up a hit, a walk, struck out 4 in 3 1/3 scoreless innings. Not only that, he's been throwing gas. He's been throwing so much gas that Pitching Ninja on Twitter even showed video of him on Saturday. He hit 99.1 on the gun, and he also has a new changeup that he's been throwing, and he was keeping some of the Blue Jays completely off balance with it, which is great to see. Now, Brian Cashman said about Gil and about the rest of the guys who were fighting for the 5th starter position. I feel like we have a number of different choices to consider, and that's a good thing. A number of people have thrown well, whether it's what Gil just recently showed us, and we already know what he had done prior to the Tommy John surgery, and we know what he's capable of. What Warren continues to do. Beater has had a good camp and shown his wares here in his first major league camp. Cody Petit has done well. Luke Weaver has been there and done that. I'm assuming they're going to go with Luke Weaver just because of the experience, even if Luis Gil keeps throwing gas. But this is a great thing for the Yankees to have someone like Luis Gil in their back pocket in case Luke Weaver doesn't work out for the 5th starter spot, or in case, someone else gets injured besides Gerrit Cole, because that's always a possibility with the Yankees. So going back to the spring breakout game, as I said, I really loved it. I thought it was great. I like the idea that it happens all over. Grapefruit League, Cactus League. And again, you get to see these kids that you normally wouldn't see unless you're lucky enough to live near a minor league park, or you're one of those people who has a subscription to minor league MILB TV, and you get to see those games. And it's really something, especially in spring training. Like, you get to see some of them in spring training, but just to see the spotlight on them and on the prospects of the other team that they're playing, I think it's a really cool idea. And I think that baseball should do more things like this to spotlight the kids who are coming up, because I feel like they kind of get lost in the shuffle because of where everything is scheduled now, with the draft being so close to the All-Star game and in the All-Star break. And I feel like they don't have enough of a spotlight shown on them. And I like this, and I hope they keep this up. Again, I had a lot of fun watching these kids. It's really great seeing Spencer Jones doing what he's doing. And Spencer Jones is basically showing everyone why the Yankees don't want to trade him away. So to all the people who were thinking, well, they should just trade him, did you watch on Saturday? No. Let's not do that. Let's keep him. I think he's one of those guys. I think he's going to be really good, and he's going to be really fun to watch. So don't forget, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from me, and you can text me questions. There's a 14-day free trial. And let me tell you, when I sent the text out about how Gerrit Cole didn't need Tommy John surgery, I got a ton of texts back from happy people. The insiders were very happy. I'm sure you were. We're going to talk about it a little bit in segment 3. But before we do that, in segment 2, we're going to recap the weekend. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, and you can even pick who's going to win it all. You can bet on the men's tournament and the women's tournament. Right now, on the men's side, Connecticut is leading the pack to win it all. Then you have Houston, Purdue, Arizona, and Tennessee rounding out the top 5. And on the women's side, you have South Carolina, LSU, Iowa, Stanford, and UCLA rounding out their top 5. So visit fanduel.com/locked on and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Welcome back. As you know, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today. And baseball fans, mark your calendars for March 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern for the best MLB season preview coming exclusively to Locked On Sports Today. On March 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern, be the first to get local insight from the MLB local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Find it on March 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. One more time. Just kidding. I'm not going to say it again. But you will see my face talking about the Yankees and the Orioles and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays because we do the AL East preview, but it's going to be a completely condensed. So you're going to have all the divisions talking at the same time. It's going to be pretty cool. So what are we doing now? Oh, yes, we're recapping the weekend. So we're going to do things weird because I'm weird. Why not? We're going to start on Saturday because it's the only time the Yankees won. So we might as well go with the positives, right? Yeah. Okay. Giancarlo Stanton hit his first home run of spring training. Yay. Now, of course, it was off like an 89-mile-an-hour pitch, but it's always good to see him absolutely smash the ball. So that's good. Now, I already mentioned how well Luis Gil pitched on Saturday, so we don't have to go through it again. Future leadoff hitter, Anthony Volpe, 4 for 4, scored twice, looked really good. I'm going to keep banging that drum. I am a drummer, actually. I was a drummer when I was a kid, and I'm going to keep banging the Anthony Volpe leadoff hitter drum. I'm just going to keep doing it. I can't help it. Jahmai Jones had an RBI single. Greg Allen had an RBI triple. Good for you. Clay Holmes had a bit of a rough time in his 2/3 of an inning of work. He gave up 2 hits and 1 run. He struck out 1. Now, the roughest outing belongs to Caleb Ferguson on Saturday. He didn't record an out, gave up 3 runs on 2 hits with a walk. And because of that, the Yankees had to come back to win the game after the Blue Jays scored a combined 5 runs in that 8th inning off Ferguson and Caleb Andrews. So, again, it's spring training. It's okay. I mean, it's okay that the Yankees, like, if they were to lose the game, it's okay. But, it's not great to see Caleb Ferguson not get out of an inning because he's one of the guys that the Yankees got to solidify the bullpen. And, these guys have iffy outings every once in a while. So I think it's okay. JC Escarra hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th that pulled the Yankees ahead 10-9. That's how it ended. DJ LeMahieu fouled a ball off his foot. The x-rays came back negative. He's day-to-day. We're going to talk about that a little more in segment 3. On Sunday, the Yankees lost to the Red Sox, but we'll get into the final result in a bit. Will Warren had a rough first inning that wasn't completely his fault. There were some botched plays behind him, but he was taken out and brought back in. The Red Sox actually ended up scoring 9 runs in the first inning off Warren and Luis Arehula. If I said it wrong, I'm so sorry. He gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning of work. Now, Warren recovered after that rough first inning, finished with a line of 2 2/3 innings pitched, the 6 runs, 2 of them earned. So, yeah, that just shows you that there was a mess behind him. No walks, 5 strikeouts. So that's always good. He gave up a home run to Trevor Story in the first inning, which wasn't great. Also not great. Jose Trevino, Anthony Rizzo, and Oswaldo Cabrera combined to go 1 for 9. down in Fort Myers. Rizzo had the lone hit from that trio. The Yankees ended up losing the game 12-6. What I will say about Warren is at least he came back and recovered from that. But that is a very weird line when you see that, especially there's a big difference between 6 runs and 2 earned runs, so that just shows you that there was a lot of stuff going on behind him. And again, not giving up a walk and striking out 5 is great. And you're going to see a similar result in the third game of the weekend when I recap Friday, which I'm going to start doing right now. Clark Schmidt gave up an early home run to Jack Hannigan, but he settled down after that through 3 1/3 innings. He gave up only that run on 5 hits. He did not walk anyone and struck out 5. That sounds familiar. Didn't I just say that with Will Warren? Yes, I did. Gleyber Torres hit his 3rd home run of the spring. He also hit a double. This is good because I mentioned him last week. Ron Marinaccio and Yerry De Los Santos both had scoreless outings. Those two have had kind of more rough for De Los Santos than Marinaccio. Marinaccio just kind of frustrating with not being able to get guys out with 2 outs. So that's good to see them have a scoreless inning. Not good, Anthony Misevich. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 runs on 3 hits, including a home run to Jack Suwinski. He also walked a batter and he could not strike anyone out. So that wasn't good for him. And the Yankees dropped that game to the Pirates on Friday night 6-2. But you like to see Clark Schmidt recovering after an early home run, not giving up any more runs after that. Again, the no walks and the 5 strikeouts, always good to see from everyone. And this is a message I have to a Locked On Yankees insider. I am not going to mention the person's name. I'm just going to say this. The final score doesn't matter in spring training. It's fine if the Yankees lose. There's no spring training title. Well, not really. I mean, they're not really fighting for anything like that. They're putting in guys who probably won't even make the team in later innings, or guys who are fighting to make the team, but you're not clamoring to watch some of these guys. And yes, you want to see the regulars ramp things up and do better, but it's spring. So don't drive yourself crazy when you see that the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 on the weekend. They're 8-13 in spring training. Oh no, it doesn't matter. Now, within those final results, like I said, you don't want to see Caleb Ferguson have the kind of outing that he had on Saturday. You don't want to see Anthony Misevich have the kind of outing that he had on Friday. And you don't want to see guys like Trevino go 0-3. You want to see these guys hit the ball. So I understand that. But don't go crazy with the final results. That's all I have to say. And that's your Locked On Therapy message of the day. Coming up next, spring training moves, injury updates, and the Yankees have themselves an opening day starter. It's not exactly who anyone expected, but at least they named one. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, and exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply, and eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to the final segment of today's Locked On Yankees. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV Channels app. So some moves were made this weekend. On Saturday, right-hander Cody Morris was optioned to AAA Scranton, and left-hander Anthony Misevich was reassigned to minor league camp, no doubt after that rough outing on Friday. Following Sunday's game, outfielder Everson Pereira was optioned to AAA Scranton. Okay, so I mentioned DJ LeMahieu fouling the ball off his foot against the Blue Jays. The x-rays were negative. He's day-to-day. Aaron Judge, who people assumed would be playing this weekend but did not, is still ramping things up according to the Yankees, whatever the heck that means. Hopefully we'll see him in games this week. We're getting close to opening day. It's 10 days away from the day that this episode goes up. So, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out something more sinister about both those guys later this week. Stay tuned for that. Oh, and Gerrit Cole doesn't need Tommy John surgery, but he will still miss a significant amount of time. We will have more in-depth discussion about Gerrit Cole on tomorrow's show. And finally, the Yankees named their opening day starter, and it's Nestor Cortes. Nestor Cortes will be facing off against Framber Valdez in Houston, because in case you didn't remember that, the Yankees are facing the Astros to open the season because the MLB schedule makers are very obnoxious. Cortes said it's special. Obviously, under the circumstances we are now, it's not ideal, but you're happy when you're named opening day starter. It's cool. It's something to add to the resume for sure. Fun fact, Cortes will become just the fifth pitcher drafted and signed by the Yankees to start a season opener. The most recent, Andy Pettitte, 1998, and before that was Ron Guidry. Now, Gerrit Cole was drafted by the Yankees way back in 2008, but he did not sign. So he does not belong to that special group. And the other thing about opening day, there were reports Marcus Stroman told reporters he wasn't going to be the opening day starter. And it's basically because he didn't want to mess up his schedule. He's lined up to pitch certain days, and I understand why, if the Yankees had come to him, why he wouldn't do it. But I feel like people were slamming him a little bit for that. And, you got to know these guys are creatures of habit, and some guys are really regimented and want to stick to that schedule. So I don't fault him for that. And I don't think it's other people were saying, oh, maybe he's afraid. I don't think Marcus Stroman is afraid to pitch on opening day. It just didn't line up with his schedule and how the starts are going to work out. So I don't fault him for that at all. And I understand completely why he wouldn't do that. But it's cool for Cortes. Who would have expected it? No one, because no one was expecting Gerrit Cole to be missing opening day. Again, very happy that Gerrit Cole does not need Tommy John surgery, though I did not mention this on tomorrow's show because I already recorded tomorrow's show, so there's a spoiler for you. But I thought this tweet was interesting that I found on Saturday, and it's by a doctor who quote tweeted Brian Hoke, because what's wrong with Cole is he's dealing with inflammation and edema in his elbow. So this is what that doctor said, and I think this was really interesting. Okay. He said, Cole is dealing with inflammation and swelling around a nerve, likely the ulnar nerve, which is actually quite common. The ulva nerve runs just below the UCL, and the pain and swelling around the nerve could be the primary culprit of why Cole's not pitching right now. The nerve is usually moved during Tommy John surgery because of its poor path. The nerve being irritated is what is responsible for controlling pain and muscle spasming. Get the nerve to calm down, and he should be able to ramp it up again. This doctor also said, wouldn't be surprised if the doctors injected 5% dextrose or some non-inflammatory stem cell products to calm down the nerve. He said that PRP is pro-inflammatory and not a good choice around that nerve. So he says that Cole could return sooner than 2 to 3 months if this is the primary issue he's dealing with. Hope this was helpful. Consider following for more sports injury related explanations. So I thought that was interesting, and I did see a diagram of where the nerve does go around the UCL, and it's understandable for them to think that because of where the pain was coming from, that they thought something was up with his UCL. The elbow is a very tricky part of the body. And I said this, did I say this the other day? I don't think I said this the other day, right? Because I recorded Fan Mail Friday, I edited Fan Mail Friday, and you saw on Fan Mail Friday, I was checking the phone to make sure that there was no news about Cole. And when did the news come out? Right as I was finishing editing. And I didn't have enough time to record because it was too close to midnight for me to be able to do everything again. It was a sigh of relief when we heard the news, obviously, that he didn't need Tommy John surgery. It's not good that he's going to be out for a little while, but the fact that he doesn't have a tear is the best news ever. And if he rests for the next 3 to 4 weeks, which is what he said, like he's resting, like Peraza can't do baseball activities for 6 to 8 weeks because of his shoulder, Cole cannot do anything with his elbow for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So that's why the timeline is still long, because he just really needs to let it relax and let the nerve stop doing what it's doing. So it's all good news. But again, we'll have more about Gerrit Cole on tomorrow's Locked On Yankees. But one more time, don't forget, join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description below and a 14-day free trial. You get texts from me. You can text me questions. And speaking of that, you can also leave your questions under the pinned comment below and on any video Monday through Thursday. And if you join the Insiders Club, you get top priority. But if you leave a question underneath the pinned comment, I'll still read it if I have time for it. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.